Hello, everybody. My name is Michelle Boulay, and I am a life coach and a healer and a dancer and an artist who makes things like this little video right here, or dances sometimes. And today I want to share two things with you. One is just about getting things started, getting things moving. And two is a response to an email that I got earlier this week, and I just wanted to answer it here so it could serve a lot of people. So I've been wanting to make a little video or like do a podcast or something. I am a creative person. I have ideas flying through my head all the time, and I'm running a business, which is FYI, every single artist and coach and healer out there. It's like you are running a business. And there comes a time when you just have to be like, okay, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. I'm just going to start it. So I thought, you know what? What better way to practice that than to just make a little video now and start out? And I could get myself in this place of all the excuses of, well, I don't have a place to do it. I don't have an outfit. I should probably get my hair cut. I can't right now. Because last time I cut my bangs, it was a disaster. And there's just like, you can see that those are all the excuses that my mind wants to create to just stop myself from moving forward. So I just set up my camera like this, and it was kind of amazing. I was like, wow, it looks like a Joseph Albers painting in this room. For anyone who likes art of that time or who knows that, I was like, oh wow, look at this optical illusion. So you know what? I'm going to call it perfect, and here we go. So the story I wanted to share about just starting is this story right here, but also a place where I really learned this was when I was teaching for a semester at Hollins University in Roanoke, Virginia. And I was stepping in for Donna Faye Birchfield, who is an amazing teacher and mentor and woman who now runs the dance program at the University of Arts in Philadelphia. I was teaching for her last semester there, actually. And they had they had composition class, or I can't remember what it was called, every Friday, where everyone would show up and just meet in the dance studio, and people would share what they'd been working on. They'd share their work. And it happened every Friday. You got to, if you wanted to show something that week, you put your name on a list and you would show what you had. And then there was this beautiful way of giving feedback. And the artist, the person showing, the artist, the choreographer, actually got to direct that feedback and be specific, at least to my memory, on what kind of feedback they wanted to support their process. So what was amazing is I remember the first time, or like this would happen, that someone would come in and say, I'm going to show something, and it'd be their turn, and they'd stand up in the studio in front of all of us, and they'd just be like, and if you're listening to this, I just did some dance movements for 5 seconds, and then they would sit down and be like, okay, so I've been thinking about this, and I would just love to hear what your feedback is. What did you see? And I was like, oh, what? You can just get up there and show 5 seconds of material and that's it? It was like my mind was so in this place of you must have a masterpiece before you share anything. I'm ripping my brain open right now just to mine out the debris of that belief system. No, you don't have to have a masterpiece. You just have to show up and do it. And then show up again and again and again. And I was so blessed to be there for that entire semester, because I got to see this transformation of a continual application of, I'm going to keep researching this. I'm going to sign my name on Friday on the sheet that says I want to show something. And, by the time the semester, 16 weeks or so, was over, I got to watch these amazing women. It's an all women's undergraduate college. I got to watch these amazing women do their dances on stage with lights, in costume, with sound, that just started from a kernel of something. So I just say that to encourage you to start something. If there's something you're dreaming about, you just have to start it. You just have to take one step. And then the next step reveals itself. Like today, I was like, you know what? This is not the greatest room, the color. And then I was like, what the heck? Joseph Albers in my corner right here. Or if you have another artist, I know there's other artists, but I can't think of them right now. Joseph Elvers came to mind first. I'd love to hear who the artist is. So that's the first thing I wanted to share. And then the second thing I want to share is what someone emailed me this week. And this was in response to the email newsletter I sent out last week, where I talked about humor is the glue, action is the salve. And if you didn't see that, I would say head over to my blog, make sure you're signed up for my newsletters so you get those. But there were just two bits of digestible wisdom that I wanted to share from that came up in the week prior. So this person wrote to me about having difficulty with positive mindset. And she said, I find it very difficult to access positive mindset or even have a vision of what I want that is possible. The negative downward spiral is mostly just taking over and it feels hopeless to me. Negative thinking is constant. I don't know what to do. So I want to break this down a little bit. And this is what I do in my coaching. It's just like seeing what is actually behind this thinking pattern. What is creating this thinking pattern and how can we shift it? So the first thing that jumped out to me was that this person said that it's difficult to have a vision of what I want that is possible. So I would cross out those words, that is possible, because that sometimes is the subconscious mind just stepping in and saying, you can't do that. Like you don't have this, you don't have that, you don't have this. That person's not going to approve of you. What is that person going to think if you do that? And that is just that amazing tactic that this part of your mind has that tries to keep you safe by not letting anything change, because you're alive, you survived to today. If you're trying to branch and grow into a new pattern or grow into a new anything, you will have to engage in patterns that are not familiar. So I want to share that around that word that is around what is possible, but also this, which I think is really important. If you can imagine it, it is possible. That's the only reason it can pass through your mind. And then your job, if it is really part of your passion and your purpose, is to continue to investigate, okay, how I could imagine this. So I know there's this like space between me and this thing, or maybe it looks like this, maybe it's horizontal or it's vertical. And the only thing you need to do is take the next step that you see there. And that's similar to what I was talking about in this composition class for these young dance makers. It was like, maybe there's a feeling or a vision of like, I want to make a dance, or I want to create a business, or whatever it is. And it doesn't just happen. You don't just snap your fingers. You don't just swallow a pill and everything gets better. There's a process that you have to go through. But I want to remind you that if you can imagine it, it is possible. The process involves finding the next best step. And then from that place, your awareness opens up. Something else is revealed. And then you get to say, oh, I have to go this way now. Or actually, that wasn't the right way. Let me go this way. So you hold that vision of what you want. Don't worry about if it's possible or not. Just keep moving towards it and let there be a feedback system so you can continue to course correct on your path. The other thing that jumped out in what this person wrote is negative thinking is constant. And yes, it is constant, but positive thinking is also constant. It depends on where you're looking. And it depends on it. I think what you need to bring in here is your power of choice in what do you want to focus on. So right now in this time where it's people are tuned out to the news, and you can hear this conversation around. It's going around, but I want to repeat it again, that our brains are drawn towards the thing that alerts us. I may have even talked about this in my free Meditate, Move, Heal workshop. That it's like it's catching your nervous system, and that's part of our survival instinct. And it's called a negativity bias. And there was, I was just Googling it a little bit. It's like at the top of my Google was, actually I used DuckDuckGo. At the top of that was a Psychology Today article from 2003 that talks about the negativity bias and goes on to explain a research study done on relationships where the healthy relationships, it's not that they didn't have negative moments, they just had a ratio. It was like there were 5 positive moments that balanced out that one negative moment. So I would say to you, this person who wrote to me, to you have to just start to tune into what is positive. Okay, there's something here that actually lights me up a little bit, and the journey to that doesn't look like just paste a smile on your face. Like, ugh, that sucks. Sometimes, I mean, and sometimes I want to eliminate the words negative and positive. It really, it boils down to just accepting what is, accepting what's here, and loving on it. So there's times, there was a time earlier this week where I just got triggered, and like all this like anger started to boil through me, and the most toxic thing I could do was put a smile on my face. So I just like got in my body and I moved it around, and I used all the different tools that I had. That's the thing too, like the tools are out there, you just have to remember to use them. I used those tools, I reached out to the person that supports me, and I let it transform. And in fact, the trigger, it transmuted, and the person I was having trouble connecting to, we connected so beautifully just like an hour later. So I would say, you know, one thing is to not look at the news so much, because it's built that way. Get what you need and then focus on what you want, this thing that actually is possible. Because it will, as you wrote, it will take you into a downward spiral. It'll keep you in that frequency of whether it's negativity or fear or hopelessness. It's just like, okay, let's look at this thing. Let's look at this thing that actually moves me towards hope, that moves me towards joy. And if I'm going to kick and scream on my way, I'm just going to let myself do that kicking and screaming and get that energy out. One thing that I picked up, I think it was even that same day, was this book called Physicians of the Heart. It's a beautiful book that my teacher, my biogeometry teacher, Chris Attard, introduced me to when I was studying that work in 2014 with him in Gozo, Malta. And it just, there's so many times I just picked it up and I opened it up, and the page is right. And it was a page, it was a short writing on revenge, and talking about the power of actually feeling that revenge, like revenge on God, revenge on this person, like just getting all of that vitriol like moving through your body homeopathically. And then once that happens, it's like it clears out those channels. And I can't remember the exact words, but it's something like the pomegranate passion of your blood just gets to like flow through you again. So it's not about stuffing it down. It's not about stuffing down how sad you might be or how angry you might be. It's letting it move outwards as life does. It expands. It's letting it move outwards in healthy ways where you are taking responsibility for it and you're not projecting it onto another person. So I hope that helps this person who wanted to remain anonymous. I hope that helps you in going through this process. I think rather than think about it as positive thinking, think about it as what is here. How do I love and accept this and let it continue to move? So thank you for tuning in, joining me in my new studio. And Meditate, Move, Heal is happening on May 9th. So I'd love for you to be in that space with me and the group. We do a 90-minute session of the practice that I shared 5-6 weeks ago. The free session, which you still can look at on my website. We do a practice together. I get to be in touch with each person about what they need just through an intake form that you are welcome to fill out when you join. We do the work together, and then there's a Q&A a week later where I answer any lingering questions. And it's been really beautiful to do that work so far. Just great feedback about how it has been catalyzing things for different people in their lives, just opening them up to another way of being in this time and in their lives, because this is a great moment to look at what's going on and let it be, to look at what's here and let it be information for continued transformation and growth. As hard as it is sometimes, just to find, again, it's always about like finding the systems, the people, the environments, creating them that support you so that even through difficult times, you can continue to grow and expand. Alrighty, with so much love, have a wonderful day.